Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I said yesterday we'll speak about Laylat al-Qadr today, inshallah. Most of the material is something you heard before, and if you were here last night, you're not going to say anything about it. You're getting in a lot of trouble. Yeah. Repetition is good, as I told you. MashaAllah. It's part of your Iman, part of your Islam, and so on. But anyway, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina wa Mawlana Muhammad wa barik wa sallam. There are many dimensions to Laylat al-Qadr, and there are many realities in Laylat al-Qadr, and there are many components, and there are many ways to approach Laylat al-Qadr. Today I'm going to focus on the result of Laylat al-Qadr. What is the desired result of Laylat al-Qadr? Well, that's important for us to appreciate that, okay, you worship Allah in the last 10 nights of Ramaḍān, or at least the odd nights, and you stay in dhikr and dua and Quran and nafil and all of that. So what should be the result of all of this? The purpose, obviously, is to worship Allah. You will not know whether you have caught Laylat al-Qadr, whether you've been in touch with Laylat al-Qadr. Some people do, not everybody. But then you are making ibadah bil ghaib, basically. So you don't know, you're still in the unseen. So you'll do your ibadah, you'll do your dua, everything else that you do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you'll still be in the dark, so to speak. You don't know whether you've captured Laylat al-Qadr. There are signs, but the signs are after the fact. There are signs in the morning after Laylat al-Qadr. Laylat al-Qadr was last night, by the way. Thank you very much. Those signs some people see, like the awliya of Allah and those who stay up until Ishraq and see the sunrise, and they see the sun rising like a full moon with no rays in it. Some people see it. But most people won't know whether they have received Laylat al-Qadr, so they are now making ibadah on anticipation, on a hope, on a desire, which is bil ghaib, is the unseen. You don't know. And that is the beauty of ibadah, that you worship Allah expecting reward, but you don't know whether you'll get it or not. So it's not result driven. All of this, looking for Laylat al-Qadr, iltamisu, look for it, as the Prophet said. But when you look for it, you should know whether you found it or not. Right? So how do you know you found it? So you don't know until you die. So that's the beauty of Iman bil ghaib, that you have Iman in the unseen. So anyway, what I'm saying is that what is the desired result of Laylat al-Qadr? The desired result is in the surah itself, which is right at the end. And that is in the word Salām. Salāmun hiya hatta matla' al-fajr. That there is Salam until the day breaks, meaning Fajr time, Suhoor time, and so on. So the expected result, desired result of Laylat al-Qadr is to attain this state of Salam. Salam, as you know, roughly translated peace, security, something like that. Salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to the people of Jannah, Salamun qawlan min Rabbi Rahim. Salam, a statement from your Lord who is Rahim, full of rahmah, and so on. When we meet each other, we say Salām alaikum. So Salam has a huge explanation. Salam means there is a sense of safety, security. Safety, security at different levels. One is safety from sin. That's the first level of safety. Safety for Muslims from what? From sin. Safety from shirk for all human beings, that's definitely a universal level of safety, that everybody should be safe and sound from shirk, not to commit kufr. But for the Muslim who's looking for Laylat al-Qadr, the desired result is that if you catch this night, you will be safe from sin. That you can measure. That is quantifiable. That you will know the next day and the next month and throughout the year. Did I catch Laylat al-Qadr? If I did, then I will be safe and protected from sin throughout the year. Salam. This is in the surah. Salam. So this level of safety means that you are aware and conscious of Allah, you have taqwa, and you don't want to be misguided, you don't want to make a mistake, you don't want to commit a sin, you don't want to do anything that brings about Allah's wrath and Allah's anger and Allah's punishment. That is salam. So those who really want to capture Laylat al-Qadr, they should sit down and think about how they're going to avoid sin for the rest of the year. Then itemize their thoughts, itemize their actions, itemize their reactions, itemize their interactions in such a way that there is no room for sin left. Then you know, oh, okay, I think I caught Laylat al-Qadr because I'm safe from sin. That's number one, which is not a tall order, it's a required order. It's not something of huge, immense taqwa. It's required that you save yourself and you're safe from sin, save yourself, save your family from sin, save your close ones, your neighborhood, the community, the ummah from sin. That should be your campaign and goal if you're going to acquire and catch and perceive and receive Laylat al-Qadr. Your mind should be working towards that level of Islam. And then what's the second level of safety? Second level of safety is not to hurt any other Muslim. So sit down and think, how many people do I hurt every day through my tongue, through my hands, through my actions, through my interactions, through my thoughts, and so on. So that's another level of salam that we must try to achieve, that in our societies, in our communities, we must minimize, if not eradicate, hurting other Muslims in any way, shape or form. Al-Muslimu man salim al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. Very famous hadith, most of you have heard it. A Muslim is the one from whose hands and tongues other Muslims are safe. So now in the quest for Laylat al-Qadr, your mind and your behavior must be that I want to attain and achieve salam, which is in the surah, Salamun hiya hatta matla'i al-fajr, meaning the effect of Laylat al-Qadr on the person who receives it is that he will not hurt another Muslim. This is tough. Yeah, because we're all scumbags, that's why. We love hurting each other. Yeah, that's just who we are, unfortunately. We become that way. But if you're going to be holy and say, I'm going to wake up for tahajjud and read the Quran and tasbih, and I'm going to do salat tasbih, I'm going to do this in Laylat al-Qadr, and then the morning after Eid, you go and hurt somebody. Well, you haven't received Laylat al-Qadr, brother. You've fallen short because you haven't met the objective. That's the desired result of Laylat al-Qadr. It must show itself. And that's how the awliya measure themselves. That if I want to be in sync with Laylat al-Qadr, I have to develop salam in me. Salam from sin and salam from hurting other Muslims, especially Muslims. I won't hurt another Muslim. Yeah. Muslims are much dearer to me because every Muslim, inshallah, will be together in Jannah. Inshallah. We'll all be one happy community, if you think that's possible. Bit of a hallucination at the moment. Muslims all happy together, it ain't happening. But in Jannah, you're going to be one community, happy together, one ummah, all together, liking each other, loving each other, feeding each other, visiting each other, enjoying Jannah together. There's no such thing as a recluse in Jannah. You can't be standoffish in Jannah. You're not going to be left alone in Jannah. You'll be together with everybody else as a community, and that's the beauty of the ashab. The Quran calls it ulaika ashabul Jannah. These are the companions of Jannah, meaning no one's going to have a zawi of their own somewhere in the corner of the galaxy in Jannah. He says, leave me alone. I'm happy here. Allah said, get back down here. Huh? I didn't bring you in Jannah so you can live alone. I want you to be part of the ashab, the community of Jannah. Now, how are you going to get there if you hate each other, if you hurt each other here in this dunya? So that is a level of salam, safety, security that has to be expected, desired, implemented, inculcated so that you can then look forward to the next year, and then your Laylat al-Qadr the next year will have something more than this. But it comes out from the actual words in the surah. If you think about it, the tafsir of the surah will make so much sense. It's okay, this is what I need to do. So that's another level of safety and salam, peace, that you're going to acquire once you have Laylat al-Qadr. That'll be the test for you. You can measure yourself against that. Am I still hurting people? If I am, then I have to go back to the drawing board because I didn't receive Laylat al-Qadr. All my ibadah, du'as, Quran, this and that, tahajjud, qiyam, whatever. For what? For salam. You must develop within you a mindset of salam, peace, tranquility, togetherness, and being part of the same ummah. You are the same ummah. Yeah, we make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But that's human nature. Human beings are going to hurt each other. That's just the way they are. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to offend somebody. You're going to do this to somebody. But then the third level of salam is now where you want every Muslim, and you try also to make sure every Muslim is safe from the fire of hell, which is a very high level. It's an ideal, but you can meet it. It's not that difficult. You can meet it. I don't want any Muslim to go to hell. You're protecting each other. Safety through protecting each other from sin, from harm, from hurt, in such a way that no one is to go near Jahannam. No one. And then you spend your life doing that with people, for people, with yourself, for yourself, and that all your life is geared towards making sure that you follow the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ, and you give nasiha, and you give good counsel, and you give good advice to people in such a way that they protect themselves from sin so that they don't end up in hell. Okay. So the Prophet ﷺ said, "La yu'minu ahadukum حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. None of you will believe until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. So we all love the idea that I want to be in Jannah. So if you want to be a true believer, then you have to love the idea that I want all of my fellow Muslims to be in Jannah also. So you bring in that universality of the people of Jannah, which I just mentioned. I don't want a single Muslim hurt, and I don't want a single Muslim falling short of Jannah. That's the Islamic ideal. How do you do that? For that, you need knowledge of the Quran, the Sunnah, you need this. Not for everybody, but at least in principle, you say, okay, I'm going to do what's required of me within the means I have, with the knowledge I have, and within my own capabilities and abilities. I'll do this, which is called al-amru bil-ma'ruf wa-nahyu anil-munkar, commanding the good and forbidding the evils. And if you see something good, you encourage it, you make dua, you give moral support. And if you see something bad or evil, then you say, this is wrong. Then you have to speak up. There's no sense of, there's no idea of mind your own business in Islam. We don't have that attitude, mind your own business. Because your business is mine. You and I were on the same boat. I don't want you in hell, you don't want me in hell. So I'm going to tell you out of my love for you that you should not be doing this now. The way you talk to people and how you administer that medicine, there are rules and regulations for that, and you should learn that before you do so. Not that you taunt everybody or you condemn everybody, or you say that you're going to hell. That's not the adab of nahyu anil munkar. There's a way to do it, and you should learn it. The discipline from your elders, from your mashayikh, the ulama, and everybody else who are higher than you in ranks and further ahead on the path than you are. So that's the first, third level of salam. So Laylat al-Qadr has a desired result, and the desired result is in the last word that talks about Laylat al-Qadr in this surah. Salāmun. Salam. First, salam from sins, and second, salam or peace and safety from hurting other Muslims, and thirdly, at a communal societal level, we want peace, safety for all Muslims, that no Muslims enters Jahannam. We want every Muslim to enter Jannah, and that should be our focus, that should be our desire. And in fact, it should be your dua also. That what you're asking. The famous dua the Prophet ﷺ gave to Aisha is about Allahumma innaka afuwan fa'fu anni. Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. What is dua? Why is it so amazing? So short. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are the one that pardons and forgives and overlooks. Afu, someone who just overlooks. You know we make mistakes, you know we commit sin, and we're full of that. But we want you on this night of power, where you have immense power to forgive our sins. So, tuhibbul, you love the idea of overlooking my mistakes, so therefore overlook my mistakes and pardon me and forgive me. That's the dua the Prophet ﷺ told Aisha to recite in the night of Qadr. Now, if you analyze it and you sit down and think about it, what is the Prophet ﷺ saying? That we don't want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to punish anybody. So why do you want to put yourself in a position where He could punish you? And that's why salam is the vehicle in which and with which you're going to get to a station where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you and will protect you, will give you safety and security from all of these three levels of threat and insecurity. These are threats that, sin is dangerous. Right? Sin is dangerous for you. It is very devastating for you. And then hurting Muslims, that's Very dangerous. Because then you end up fighting and killing each other. Very dangerous. And then going to Jahannam, that's the worst danger of all. So all these forms of dangers and insecurities, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will listen to you when you make this dua in Laylat al-Qadr. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. So the Prophet ﷺ gave Aisha the most perfect dua to make in Laylat al-Qadr, where it captures everything for the Muslim and the Muslim Ummah. The ibadah in Islam, you must remember that no ibadah in Islam is isolated and limited to the one who worships, to the performer. Someone doing Salat al-Tahajjud up on the mountain, he's not isolated from the Ummah. His doing Tahajjud there has an impact on all Muslims, except that you don't see the impact, you don't feel the impact. But we're all interconnected. We're all connected, and there's proof of that in the Quran, in the Hadith, where the Prophet ﷺ said that all believers are like one body. Yeah, they're like one body. So if there's one part of the body that is injured or hurt or in pain, the rest of the body feels it. So the Prophet ﷺ likened the Ummah to one body. What does that mean? We're not isolated. We're all interconnected. So when I do a good deed, it has an impact on the person next to me, on my family, on my neighbors, on the Ummah. And likewise, God forbid, if I do a sin, it has repercussions on my family first, on my neighbors, and on the Ummah. You cannot believe for a second that you're isolated, because you won't be isolated in Jannah. You'll be together. And likewise, the people of the fire, they won't be isolated. They're called Ashabun Nar. Even there, Allah says, the companions, they're together in the fire. There's no isolation. You're all together, whether in the fire or in Jannah. So that's the key. Your mindset must be that I owe my fellow Muslims a good deed. The Prophet ﷺ said that if you don't have money to give charity, say Subhanallah. You must sit down and think, why is he saying that saying Subhanallah is a charity? A charity is a good deed you do for someone else. Saying Subhanallah is for you. That's where you're wrong. Because you believe you're isolated. If you believe you're not isolated and you say Subhanallah, that Subhanallah is going to have an effect on who? Everybody around you. So that's charity. You're doing a good deed for others. It's just the mindset that we've developed, this individualism, that is selfishness. So Muslims, they become selfish in their ibadah also. I want to go for Umrah, it's going to be my Umrah, my perfect little Umrah. No, you idiot, your Umrah has effects on the person next to you. Your Umrah has effects on your family. It has effects and impact on your mother and your father, the people who raised you, on your wife, on your children, on your neighbors, on your family, on your relatives. There's no such thing as a personal ibadah. That's just a myth, which the shaitan creates. Oh, my ibadah. I made such a good tawaf and saim. I'm so proud of myself. Subhanallah, you've just lost it. You've lost all the reward. It's not about you. See, the salat is not about you. The salat is about worshipping Allah. And who is Allah? Rabbul Alameen. He's the Lord of all the worlds. So if you do something for Allah, Allah will reward you in such a way that He is the Lord of all the worlds. It will have an impact, and that's how early Muslims kept together. So that's why we have this idea of Amr bil Ma'ruf, that you encourage people when they do good deeds, and you give them moral support and say, Subhanallah, MashaAllah, Allah give you tawfiq and istiqamah and all that. Why? Because that dua you give to that person will come back to you. It will benefit you more than anything else. So, and then is that in this surah of Laylat al-Qadr, the idea that we worship Allah throughout the night in the Laylat al-Qadr, and we do so expecting reward, even though we may not see the reward, inshallah. Allah give us reward in Jannah. But the other thing, there are some societal and social effects that can be quantified and can be and should be measured. That do I know that I've seen Laylat al-Qadr? Yes, you will know. How? First, are you still committing the same sins you were doing so before Ramadan? If yes, then you didn't see Laylat al-Qadr. You didn't get that. You failed. Are you still hurting other Muslims? Yes, that means you failed. Do you still want people to go to Jahannam? If that is yes, then you failed totally. So these are standard quantifiable tests that we can administer on ourselves to show whether or not we have received Laylat al-Qadr. And it comes out from the tafsir of this word in the surah, Salām. Salam, salam. And it comes out from the dua that the Prophet ﷺ gave to Aisha, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Make this dua, but make it conceptually where you now realizing I need to make dua for the ummah. Allah save the ummah of Muhammad ﷺ. Allah guide the ummah of Muhammad ﷺ. Allah forgive the ummah of Muhammad ﷺ. Allah help the ummah of Muhammad ﷺ, because that is your greatest contribution. That is the greatest charity. Sadaqah you can give to the ummah is your sincere dua. Have a sense of belonging. We belong together and we belong to the ummah of Muhammad ﷺ, because we will be together as a community in Jannah. Allah take us there, inshallah. We make dua Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to do ibadah in Laylat al-Qadr. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to receive Laylat al-Qadr. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow the effects of Laylat al-Qadr to stay with us throughout the year and throughout our lives. Amin ya Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khayri khalqi. Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya